Good morning, and welcome back to 10-Minute English Cafe. Please subscribe. Today we begin with dogs looking at human faces inside an MRI scanner.
That is a surprising picture for a Sunday coffee. I can imagine a patient dog staying still while a person makes a face on a screen.
The study used fMRI scans and machine learning to compare activity patterns in pet dogs' brains as they viewed human facial expressions.
I like that you said activity patterns. It sounds careful, like looking at small lights on a map instead of guessing a dog's private thoughts.
Exactly. The study found different patterns for joy and for several negative expressions, including anger, sadness, and fear.
That makes me think of my dog watching me near the coffee machine. Sometimes one raised eyebrow seems to get more attention than a whole sentence.
We will keep that everyday feeling separate from the result. The research measured brain representations. It did not prove human-like emotional understanding.
That boundary is helpful. A scanner can show a difference without giving a dog a tiny human speech bubble.
Our second story moves to Tennessee, where a university plans a $280 million entertainment district around Neyland Stadium.
A stadium neighborhood sounds very different from one football game. I picture people arriving when there is no whistle, no kickoff, and no crowd countdown.
The planned district is described as a year-round, mixed-use destination with dining, hospitality, entertainment, and public gathering spaces.
So the place is meant to have a life after the seats are empty. That is easier to picture than a business plan full of arrows.
Our third story is a theater transfer. The Greatest Showman stage musical is announced for Theatre Royal Drury Lane in London from spring 2027.
That title immediately puts bright lights in my head, but I will try not to rush the calendar. Spring 2027 is still an announcement, not opening night.
Right. The show had a Bristol run before this London announcement. The news is the announced next step, not an opening already completed.
3 stories, 3 kinds of attention, a brain pattern, a planned neighborhood, and a future stage. I am ready for the first one.
Today's keyword is route, spelled R-O-U-T-E. A route is the path that connects one place or stage to the next.
Route. I can use that today. The scanner pattern, the plan around a stadium, and the path from one stage to another.
The central institution is the University of Vienna, where researchers studied pet dogs with fMRI and machine learning.
University of Vienna gives the story a clear label. I would want to know what the dogs actually saw before I imagined a science fiction dog laboratory.
The dogs viewed human facial expressions. Researchers then compared the brain activity patterns connected with those expressions.
That feels more grounded. A face on a screen is a small, clear task, even if the scanner itself still sounds like a very loud metal tunnel.
The reported result was that joy, anger, sadness, and fear produced differing patterns, with several negative expressions also separated in the analysis.
I hear the word differing and picture 4 routes on a map, not 4 labels the dog is reading like a school worksheet.
That is a good distinction. The result supports a difference in brain representations, not a statement that dogs understand each feeling in a human way.
I appreciate that pause. It is tempting to turn one scan into a story about my dog knowing every bad day before I do.
The careful part is the method and result. Dogs viewed faces, and the analysis compared their brain activity patterns.
So the university is not just a name in the corner. It is the place that helps us connect the scanner, the dogs, and the careful wording.
Yes. The current news is not that dogs can read minds. It is that this study found distinguishable activity patterns when dogs saw particular human expressions.
That makes the headline less magical, but more interesting. The real pattern is in the brain data, and the meaning stays limited.
We can keep one everyday image without expanding the claim. A dog may watch a face, while researchers watch the measured response.
I like that two-way picture. The dog watches a face, and the researchers watch a pattern, with no one pretending the scanner tells a whole life story.
Your coffee cup example fits the word distinguish. Here, the analysis separates patterns. It does not show a dog speaking about feelings.
I will remember it as a careful verb. I can distinguish between two coffee cups without claiming I know what either cup is thinking.
The central institution here is the University of Tennessee. Its planned Neyland Entertainment District is a $280 million project around Neyland Stadium.
That number makes me set down my cup. Is the plan mainly for game day, or is the stadium area meant to work when there is no game?
The university describes it as a year-round mixed-use destination with dining, hospitality, entertainment, and public gathering spaces.
Then I can picture an ordinary Tuesday, not only a packed Saturday. Someone could meet a friend, eat, or walk through the area without holding a ticket.
That is the plain language context. The project is designed around the stadium, but is described as a place with uses beyond a single event day.
It feels like turning the outside of a venue into another room of the city. The seats stay inside, while the neighborhood has a different job.
This project sits in a broader college sports search for revenue beyond game days.
So the current news connection is not just a prettier entrance. It is part of a search for ways to use a sports location more often.
Precisely. The report does not let us promise a result, and the project is not described as already open.
That future tense matters. A model on a table and a finished street are very different things, even if both look exciting in a photo.
The important point is that it is planned, not finished. A plan describes a direction, not a guarantee.
I hear that as a calendar sticky note. It tells me where the plan is pointing, but it does not let me buy dinner there today.
When I hear mixed use, I picture one area holding more than one kind of activity.
Mixed use makes the idea simpler. Instead of one giant football-shaped box, I see several small reasons for people to be there.
Our factual pattern is compact. A $280 million planned district, a stadium location, and year-round uses.
That is enough for me. I can keep the plan on the drawing board while still understanding why it belongs in a college sports business story.
The central venue is Theatre Royal Drury Lane in London. It is the announced next home for the Greatest Showman stage musical from spring 2027.
Theatre Royal Drury Lane sounds grand even before I know the details. Did the musical go there directly, or did it play somewhere else first?
The production had a Bristol run before this London announcement.
Now I can see the route. Bristol first, then an announcement for a new venue. That makes it feel like a transfer, not a show appearing from nowhere.
The move is the new announcement, not proof that performances there have begun.
That distinction is important. I would not call it opening night when the news only says the move is announced.
Exactly. The current news is the announced move from a completed earlier run toward a future run, not a report that performances have begun.
The word announced keeps the spotlight in the right place. We are watching a plan step onto the stage, not a curtain already rising.
The story also shows a useful pattern in entertainment news. A past run gives context, while a future venue gives the new development.
I like that pattern. One foot is in the earlier city, and the other is pointed toward the new venue.
We can say transfer for a production moving from one venue or city to another. Here, it keeps the focus on the announced move.
Transfer feels like moving a favorite plant to a new window. The plant exists, and the new window is ahead.
The timing is simple. Spring 2027 is announced.
That makes the story pleasantly clear. I can be excited about the announcement without inventing an opening date, a seat number, or a review.
So our final theater pattern is a Bristol run, an announced London venue, and spring 2027.
I will keep it as a clean path on a map, an earlier city behind us, and the London venue ahead.
Today we followed 3 patterns: measured brain activity, a planned year-round district, and a theater transfer announced for the future.
My favorite pattern was the last one. It let me feel the movement from Bristol to London while keeping it an announcement.
For me, the dog study stays with me because the researchers measured a difference without claiming to know everything that difference means.
That is a useful habit for news too. A careful fact can be more memorable than a dramatic guess.
Take today's keyword with you. Route means the path that connects one place or stage to the next.
I will use it when I notice a pattern in my week, as long as I do not turn one sleepy Monday into a scientific conclusion.
Which of today's stories would you like to discuss again, and why did that pattern catch your attention? Choose option A, option B, or option C.
Option A is the dog fMRI study and its careful difference between brain patterns and mind reading.
Option B is Tennessee's planned district around Neyland Stadium and its year-round mixed-use idea.
Option C is The Greatest Showman moving from Bristol toward an announced London run in spring 2027.
Please leave your choice and reason in the comments in any language you like.
And if this conversation helped your English, please like, subscribe, and join us again tomorrow on your own route.